Okay, everybody, I'm back. Don't mind my work shirt. Watashi wa engineer desu. It's the best way to say that. Engineer desu. The cable technician. Um, so I brought my work clothes with me. I don't have too many clothes, so but I'm here. So I'm here. What is it? Watashi wa kakse mo. No, watashi mo kakse desu. So watashi wa engineer desu. Watashi mo kakse desu. So I'm here to learn Nihonjin. I know three other languages: Tagalog, English, and Hebrew. Abari is the proper term is called, but they call it Hebrew. So I know three languages, and I'm trying to learn a fourth because I have Japanese in my blood, or Nihon in my blood. So because I have Nihon in my blood, I would definitely want to learn my language. And my agenda is to possibly one day move here to Nihon and start a new life here. You know, I'm about I'll be 38, 38 August 13th, 1985 is my birthday. So I'll be 38 in August. And I mean, I'm kind of old getting there, so I live my life. I just kind of want to go somewhere else. America's not really the best place for me, you know. But I'm beat down. I need to be on SSI. Really, I don't look like I need to be on SSI, but I'm partially blind, 20/60 vision. I got ran over by a car, so my spine is broken inside. Broken in is how you say it is pushed into my stomach, so my spine is messed up. So yeah, I'm broken down, but I still go out there and work and get up there with the best of them. Play basketball. I used to play basketball. I don't play anymore. I'll probably shoot the ball around a little bit here and there, but I won't play like a team and just I don't have the stamina or the body strength to do it anymore. Like I said, my body broken down. I can't see the rim. It's like when I throw the ball up, I'm just throwing it towards the rim. I can't see, so I can't adjust my shot or anything. I can see good enough to drive, which is why I still work. I still have my job at Xfinity. I just took a month off to learn Nihonjin, the Nihonjin language, and my boss was like, okay, just come back, but whenever you say or whatever. I said I'll be back in June, but that's to save up money. If I guess I do good enough within a month, I could get a job here and continue studying. But it's kind of, to me, scarce when you do that like that. You don't give yourself the time to really become one with the language and the people. You just kind of like some people learn languages because they are enemies of people. So they learn a language because that's their enemy. They don't want to get, sidetracked or thrown off or get caught off guard. So they learn the language well because they are enemies. Some people are like children. When you're learning a language, you won't learn it fast. You'll learn it like a baby. You need to go step by step because the language is becoming a part of your soul, not just I know it, through memory work or just, some other kind of energy. So those are different ways to learn languages. That's how I was able to learn three, becoming one with the people of the language. Enough of that. Let's go and recap and start back at where we start at. Where will we start at? The prime minister getting shot. How did that even happen? Okay. Yeah, we saw it happen, but what led up to it? What was the real reason it happened? So in America, uh, nobody really cares too much except Blasians that are Japanese mixed or Nihonjin mixed with Hebrew, Blasians, and people that are Nihonjin or Asian. They care about this, so it's not for everyone. In a certain place called Pomona, California, there's it's like I wouldn't say infestation, but there is a big population of Mexicans, and anybody that's in that area called Pomona, California, if they don't speak Spanish or if they are not a part of the Spanish culture in any way or Mexican culture in any way, they are pushed aside or considered enemies to them. Because that's what happened to me. I had a job offer there in California in Santa Monica, California, and I had to wait for the apprenticeship program to open up so I can start working. So I had to wait a month. So in that month time, I was homeless on the street. Shelter wasn't open. LA is infested with homelessness, so it wasn't really anywhere where I could go but the street for a whole month. So in the process, one of the supervisors at the job suggested that I go to Pomona, California, to a shelter out there. They should have room. So I went out there, but because I did not speak Spanish, they kind of pushed me aside because I did not speak Spanish. Even the brown people, as you call black people, they spoke Spanish. They were mixed breed with Mexican and black, if you want to call it that. So they are Blexicans or Blaxicans. We are Blasians. So on the West Coast, that's what you'll see. A lot of Blaxicans or Blannish people. We are Blasians on the East Coast of America. And I'm from Baltimore. Baltimore hugs the capital, Washington, D.C. We share the same airport. And what's next to that is New York and Philadelphia. Anyway, so I ended up getting robbed. I only could stay up for like about 5 days without really conking out. I could not stay up longer than 5 days without falling all the way asleep. So I ended up falling asleep on the side of the street somewhere, laying on top of something, and then I got robbed for my driver's license, my phones, my shoes, I had food stamp card, an EBT card. My EBT card was stolen too. And everything pretty much was taken from me except for my passport. My passport was in my backpack, deep in there somewhere that you had to really like look for it. So my passport was the only thing that saved my life as far as being able to do anything, Even though my driver's license and everything is still valid, I don't have it on me because I got robbed by a bunch of people that was from the Senor Sushi, which is what we're getting into. Senor Sushi is a restaurant that a bunch of Spanish people or Mexicans decided that they wanted to push out the Japanese or the Nihonjin people and make sushi for themselves and take away sushi from the Nihonjin people. And so they came up with a store called Senor Sushi. If you go onto the website, it seemed like it could be something done or a team partnership until you go on the website. When you go onto the website, SenorSushiPomona.com, there's a introduction statement about the website and who the people are and what they're doing and this, that, and the third. And on that website, it goes on saying, sushi originated outside of Japan. Even though the Japanese give full credit for sushi, it started in Southeast Asia or something like that. So already, they go in talking about how sushi is more ancient than Nihonjin. It started with the Aztecs or something like that. Now, of course, first thing off, I'm mad and upset because that don't make sense, because Spanish people are not Aztecs, or rather Mexicans are not Aztecs, and they're not from Southeast Asia, and they make tacos. So just because um, they said that, you know, don't mean that applies to them, if that was true. So it made me think that there were people from Nihon there that put that statement up, but it wasn't. It's just a bunch of Mexican people wanting to take sushi. And how did that start? Once upon a time, when I was still in high school, uh, me and my friend, we would always go to the mall. It was a luxury to go to Saku, Japan. Saku, Japan. Sorry. Saku, Japan is what it's called. And it was a luxury to go there to eat, especially if you want to get double meat. At first, it was always people from Nihonjin, always cooking and stuff. So you can always expect to see somebody from Japan or Nihon that was cooking. Then, so all of a sudden, Mexicans came in. A bunch of Mexicans came into our city, and it wasn't so many of them, but they started working at Saku, Japan. And like, what the world? It was a strange thing to see that, because to us, it's against the rules to work at a Japanese store, or at a store with that belongs to Nihon. It's against the rules. It's disrespectful to do that. They would have to come and ask you if you want to work for them. You don't ask them, can you work for them? They ask you. And so we were thinking that maybe they offered them work because they were new in town, blah, blah, blah. So that's how it started. So then they started getting really skilled and expert at the hibachi and things like that, you know. And you see that everywhere in America now, where Mexicans work at the sushi spots, the hibachi spots, everywhere in America. That's what you see. Um, so time passed. I was in high school, 16, 17. So that was in 2003, 4. Yeah, 2003. So from 2003 to now, they became experts at, you know, making dishes, from Nihon. And I guess they decided that they wanted to turn on Nihon and do their own thing and make a thing called Senor Sushi. Since they're so skilled at making, Nihonjin dishes, they're gonna take it from them. Probably that's what they're thinking. They're tired of working for them. They want to make their own. Um, Neither here nor there. I don't know if that's definitely the case, but I do definitely know that that's what they said, as far as trying to throw Nihon under the bus by saying they did not start sushi, but neither did they. So who are they to take sushi from them? And the reason why I leave it neutral like that is because I'm too young. I'm too young to, excuse me, go into history or know in history, um, when did sushi start. I would have to research that, or get elders that are from Nihon themselves to basically educate me on where sushi started from. You know, so I just leave it neutral like that. Um, but the problem came where what they got me mad about Senior Sushi being there and existing was when I wanted to know how that happened. And when I got robbed, it pretty much was a statement. I thought I got robbed because it was a bunch of people that just wanted to take my stuff. Young people wanted to rob me just because they were, saw some phones and, you know, you rob a homeless man. So it wasn't that. The next day came when I woke up. I realized I didn't have my stuff on me, and I walked down the street and I saw this Mexican man sitting there with my stuff on the ground. It was stuff that they did not want to take, and it was on the ground. And I picked it up, like my essential oils and things like that. They did not want that, so I picked it back up and put it in my backpack. The stuff they did take was like I said, my driver's license and things like that, critical stuff. When I asked him, why would you take my stuff and then still sit here? He was like, I don't give a fuck. I say, I don't give a, that's what he's saying or whatever. I don't give a fuck. I'm like, all right, just like that. And so I just followed them around everywhere, trying to, understand why would he rob me, or why would you still sit there, after you robbed me. And then, I wasn't getting an answer from him. He wasn't caring at all. So I get around to one of his friends, and he's talking to his friend in Spanish. And he looked at me and he said, "You're my enemy," because I wasn't understanding. And he was like, "You're my enemy." And I'm like, "I don't even know you. How am I your enemy? I don't have enemies." I'm thinking personally, I don't have enemies. I've never been attached or connected to a nation of people that have a neutral enemy, and I'm an enemy just for association or just by blood or something like that. I never experienced that. Black people or Hebrew people in America that you call black people don't experience being enemies to anyone except for the slave master. We're not enemies to anyone else. We're only enemies to the people that enslaved us. So when you say that to a Hebrew man, mixed with Japanese or mixed with anything or not, when you say that to somebody like that, they're not going to understand you. They're going to be like, I don't have no Mexican enemies. I only have white people enemies. As to say Caucasian, slave masters. So what the word you coming from with that? And so it was just because I was mixed with Japanese or mixed with Nihonjin. And just because of that, he realized that I was Nihonjin. I don't know how they be telling. There got to be some kind of war thing that's going on there that they can just tell who their enemy is because it's life and death in Pomona. But yeah, he said that to me. "You're my enemy." And I never met the man before, never seen him before. And I was like, what? And so I just kept on walking. I just didn't follow him anymore. I just was confused. And so I just walked down the street trying to find anything, just walking. And then that's when I seen Senor Sushi and was like, what? I went crazy. I snapped like, how's that there? Like, how was that? I'm like, oh, so that's why he's saying that I'm his enemy. Y'all done did some stupid stuff. Now you watching over your shoulder from anybody that got Nihonjin blood in them that they might kill you. Because y'all trying to steal their culture, steal their identity. You start off by stealing sushi. Next thing you know, you're trying to steal PlayStation. Then next thing you know, you're trying to steal what? Sega Genesis. Then anime. You know what I'm saying? And then who do you see in anime? That is closest to the it's closest to the Nihonjin people is Chado. Chado speaks Spanish. I never seen somebody speak Spanish in anime until I seen Bleach. So I felt that disrespectful. I felt that very disrespectful. I don't want to learn Spanish while I'm watching. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching anime. I'm not here to be listening to Spanish. You talk about El Directo, oh, that's Sonido and all this. Like, yo, why am I listening to Spanish in a Nihonjin anime? So it was very disrespectful. But you realize that when you watch Bleach, it shows that Chado and Ichigo have a partnership, against the Nihonjin people. And Chado is basically doing it to save his people. But it's like you're that coward that you would not fight for your people to the death, that you would betray another people to protect your people. So how can you really truly protect your people? You know, if there was no other people there that you can lean on to throw under the bus, then you would be dead by now. Or you just like, why would you cow it out like that? That's disrespectful. You made two enemies. So secretly, the person that you're working for, the Americans, are your enemy. But then you made enemies out of Nihonjin also. So you have two enemies. One that you playing games with, and the other that you being direct with. It's disrespectful, yo. Yeah. So anyway, that's what happened to me. And when I had recorded it and tried to talk about it, I didn't have my phones. I just had my laptop, so I could not record it on my laptop. It was not like I could have, but it would have been stupid to do. Walk around with a laptop trying to record it on on my laptop, looking real stupid. Like, here you go, right here on my laptop, So I just basically talked about it on my Instagram. And when I talked about it, it was like 3 blocks down from where I was talking about it, or 3 or 4 blocks down from where I was talking. I says right down the street, about a couple blocks down, Senor Sushi. And when I said that, that connected to the prime minister. And a lot of people in Nihon not knowing that such a thing existed in America. America could go into an agreement with Mexicans or Spanish people to take a piece of the identity of the Nihonjin people, trying to erase them in a war. It's like a secret war that you're fighting, but you only know if you're part of the secret. But if you're not part of the secret, you don't know you at war with the people. So you're really not at war. It don't make sense. So it's stupid. I guess it's that way to try to keep the economy going at the same time at going to war. Like, if you're going to war, go to war. If you're trying to keep the economy going and be friends with people, then do that. But it's a mess, man. It's a mess. So after I seen all of that stuff, I was looking for some stores that were Nihonjin in the area. And I saw Yoshinoya and spicy tuna or spicy fish. And I went 20 minutes down the street just to go to Spicy Fish and eat instead of go to any Mexican store. Because in that area, you only saw Mexican stores. You only saw Mexican people, really. You rarely saw anybody that was Asian or black. If you saw someone that was Hebrew or black, they were mixed with Mexican. So I just minded my business, kept walking. I didn't go to the grocery store or anything. But that started them being attackish to me, attacking me a lot. Started when I spoke out against Senor Sushi, and then exposed the website and put it on display and made, let it be known that you just started a war with Nihonjin openly now, whereas there was no more secret. So the first time I ever used chopsticks was at Spicy Fish. The first time I ever cleaved into my Nihonjin roots was at 36. I'm 37 now. So I'm just now learning who I am. And my parents telling me what they telling me. And I'm cleaving late. I'm very late because I'm knowing very late. If I would have known that I was Nihonjin when I was young, I would have learned the language young. And then I would have been in Nihon a long time ago. I would have been here when I was younger. And I would have been working and living here. I would not have been in America. But since I'm late, it's still like I'm a baby in a grown man body. But it's hard to see that because I'm a grown man body. It's hard with a deep voice. It's hard to see past that and see the baby inside of me and the innocency inside of me. It's hard to see that, especially gaining a lot of experience. I speak a couple of languages. I seem to like have it all together, but it's just I've been on earth so long enough to be kind of like find a way to collect myself with everything. But really inside of myself, I'm like a baby crying out for help, you know, not really having any support system. I really don't. Um, my wife is gone. My wife was taken from me at gunpoint. I got held up at gunpoint, and my family got taken from me. So I don't have a wife anymore. People are scared to talk to me now for whatever reason. But they talk about me, but they scared to talk to me. I don't know what the reason could be. Probably think I don't know. I don't want to go too deep into that. But yeah, so let's bring it back to Senor Sushi. So once I exposed Senor Sushi and went to Santa Monica, California to talk about Najia Market, and I exposed Najia. I didn't expose Najia Market. I exposed the Mexicans, the Spanish people that's in Najia Market, just being very disrespectful inside of the market, you know. And then they have having security guards at the store that's wearing weapons, but they're not from Nihon. They're from Mexico or whatever. And they got like guns on the side of their hip and stuff like that inside of the Nihonjin market. So that when people from Nihon go into the market, they don't feel safe and comfortable in their own market. Somebody could come in there that's an elder woman or elder man and speak Nihonjin, but they don't know Nihonjin to basically help them. But then right after they don't know Nihonjin, which could be understandable because you're in America, speak English, okay, so then you speak Spanish to be disrespectful. Like openly in front of everyone, you're speaking Spanish. And it's almost like you hoping that you have somebody Spanish come into the Najia market. And I don't know. What was that about? I don't get it. It just was disrespectful all the way. I applied for a job there only because I was mad that it was Spanish people in there. And so I was mad. But the manager was Nihon Jin. He was Nihon Jin. And no. He wasn't Nihon Jin. He was Mexican. Yeah, he was Mexican. The manager of the store. So I didn't get a job because he didn't call me. It was a mess. So I realized that the only reason that the Spanish people are close to the Nihonjin people in America is because they're enemies to each other. So they stand close to each other. So when I realized that. But in the process of that, I said something about it, all of this stuff, and that's when the prime minister got shot and killed, as news reports. He was shot and murdered or shot and killed because of Senor Sushi and what's happening in America with the Nihonjin people and Spanish people still in the culture of Nihonjin, and that connecting to the Philippines, Southeast Asia, they said, is where sushi originated. And Southeast Asia is the Philippines, who also speak Spanish. So the Mexicans, if you go to Mexico, have peso. So it's the Mexican peso. If you go to the Philippines, Filipinos have Philippine peso. So the connection is that both languages have Spanish into it. So if you go to the Philippines, you'll say bayad po. They'll say 20 pesos. It's okay, 20 pesos. So it's the same as Mexicans. 20 pesos. So you have Spanish in your language. And so you're Southeast Asia, you at the South China Sea, and y'all fighting over the South China Sea because why? Americans want to come in, set up base so that they can bring bombs and nuclear warfare weapons in, and they have a closer range to shoot at Europe and China. But they need a base. So the Philippines teamed up with US so that the Americans can have a base there and they can bring in weapons and start shooting at China like atomic bombs. The same thing that happened to Nihon. The same thing that happened to Nihon with Hiroshima and Nagasaki. They want to set up a base in the Philippines to do the same thing to China and to Europe, which started the whole Ukraine thing as well. And they're fighting against that, which is why Vladimir Putin is saying NATO, we had an agreement about NATO. NATO is that you were not going to give you any more room than what you already have been given. And America wanted to push back for more room than that was given to them. It's like I gave you 2 acres of land and you took 1 more acre, against what I said or against what the agreement was. You took another acre. So now we're fighting because you're stretching and you're lying and on history and time and documentation. So it's like 10 years ago, we agreed 2 acres. 10 years later, where everybody forgot, you stretch for 1 more acre and act like it didn't exist, the agreement we had 10 years ago. And so people in the news that are, vain, a lot of vain people won't give attention to it. They'll just side with America. So, ignorance. So that's what Vladimir started attacking Ukraine as to say, well, in that case, we'll attack Baltic Avenue on the Monopoly board and see how you react to Baltic Avenue, and that was just a precursor as well, because what happened in America with the Jugokujin people in the spa, they got shot and murdered by a 21-year-old Caucasian guy. Shot elderly women, 63, 69, and 74 years old, as well as how many more people got shot? 4 more people? No, 5 more people shot. 3 elderly women and 5 other people that were Asians. And he did not get a big penalty for it. They basically just defended him in a way, saying that he just had a temptation he wanted to get rid of. So he just killed him because he got tired of fighting a temptation. So if that's a neutral excuse you can give, it's almost like you tolerate that type of activity. You wasn't really speaking about it as if that's not part of your culture or part of your way of living, murdering people to keep an advantage or to maintain something that you have. It shows that you have no hospitality or honor with your culture already. The way the police officer was speaking about the shooting. But when that did happen, you realize like, yo, how can you shoot a 74-year-old woman and you're 21? And it looks bad because nobody know why. It's just like you went into a spa during the pandemic. Nobody was allowed to touch during that time, and the vaccination wasn't even out yet. So you already should not even have been in the spa looking for somebody to put hands on you or looking for physical interaction in any kind of way, whether it was promiscuous or not. You should not have been in the spa at all. Also, he had a woman that he was courting to marry, but she ended up leaving him because she found out he kept going to the Asian spa. So she is about 19, 20. He's 21. They were supposed to get married. And then you leave her for a 74-year-old woman that got just this very, very good skill set, physical skill set. That's the way we thinking usually. So she has this skill because she's older, more experienced, 74, but she don't look 74 type of thing. And so his girlfriend that was 19, 20 left him. And then he ended up shooting the 74, 63, and 69-year-old women, as well as the 5 other people that were women. One was a man, and the others were, so 7 women and 1 man. And they were just in the spa. So that's a bad look all around the board, especially for the little girl. I wonder how she felt. You keep leaving me to go see a 74-year-old woman, or is there a woman behind the 74-year-old woman that you like and she stepped in the way? It's just disrespectful all around. Instead of you wanting your own woman, you want an Asian woman, and it just was bad, a bad look all the way. And so that connected to me as well, because I was able to save Panson. Her name is Irene Panson. So Irene Panson was the one that didn't get shot, but she was the one that said that, the people came up in there, didn't say anything, just shot the people. They didn't give an answer. They did nothing. He just came in and started shooting. Didn't ask no questions or anything. You don't know if hi, how you doing? Nothing. So, the conversation that started that was with Roberto Fortu, who is in the Philippines. Roberto Fortu is a rabbi, or a rab. He said something very disrespectful about advice that I asked him about what happened to my grandmother. She had got assaulted by my uncle and punched in the face real heavy, like a stranger would punch a stranger. So he punched my grandmother in the face, and he's an ex-Marine, so he's not a little boy. And my grandmother's old, wrinkled face. So it's just, that's your son. So my grandmother's son punched her in the face. I'm her grandson, and I had to save my grandmother's life from him, or he would have killed her. So I asked him advice, what should I do? Even though I knew what I should do already, I still asked him. I humbled myself to him being older than me and a rabbi. I asked him, what should I do? And he said, just take it to court. Don't worry about it. I said, but if my grandmother would have got killed by my uncle and I just stood there and let him beat my grandmother down and I didn't do anything, that would have been bad on me. I would have suffered the penalty and the punishment as well by just standing by, watching him beat my grandmother down, like brutally, like a man on the street that you just hate. He owe you some money and he not paying it back, and you just beat him down, So that's how he punched my grandmother, and I had to stop him. Yes, I'm ex-military, U.S. Navy, but it wasn't a good experience. It wasn't good for me, but I do have experience. But still, he's ex-Marine, I'm ex-U.S. Navy, so whatever. I was able to stop him. After that, when I had told him that, his advice that he had said caused people, he did not know that I'm a child celebrity, or I'm a child of a celebrity. He didn't know that I'm Tupac Shakur's biological son, and that I'm always under the eye, or whatever the case, from everybody. So I already know that everything I say and everything I do is being watched, because I'm a child of a celebrity. So when I said that to him, I didn't tell him that, everybody's going to be knowing what you're saying. I just kind of said it regular, for a genuine response. And his response got to certain people, and they had basically killed the Chinese women off of what he said. And Irene Panson was saved because of what I said. I said that the scriptures tell you in the Torah that he who smiteth his father or his mother must surely on spot be put to death. If a man hits his father or his mother in the face, with an evil intent with it wasn't an accident or anything like that, yeah, you must put them to death. It should not be in your energy to be able to swing on your own parents. It should be in your energy to walk away. If an argument get heated like that, something, then you should be able to walk away, not swing and try to hurt your family. And so, the wrong energy being in you, you must be put to death instantly, on the spot. No going to court. You're not supposed to go to court or anything. You're supposed to just die. So, when I had said that, it saved Miss Irene Pan, but the Chinese women were murdered. So that led to the Prime Minister of China, being provoked by the people once they got privy to what happened by Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang is the one that put that story out, and MC Jin, okay? If you don't know who MC Jin is, he was with the Rough Riders on a rap group on the East Coast in New York. He rap, but he's from China. And so, that's how I connected with MC Jin, because I rap as well. Of course, my father's Tupac Shakur, so it was a connection there. So I also was informing with him. So what we are doing then and now was to see where the people's minds are at. And I guess it was decided that I come to Nihon because I suffered a big loss from defending Nihon, defending Nihon. I suffered a big loss. I got robbed. Everything was taken from me. I was homeless on the street because I defended them. And because I did not betray my Nihonjin blood that's inside of me. I didn't betray. From the city that I'm from, Baltimore, we are 100% for Nihon. We don't ride. We don't slide on. We ride or die, if you want to say that. So there's no such thing as somebody from Baltimore betraying Nihon. There's no such thing as that. We grew up in that culture already, as well as the American culture because we in America, but we grew up in the Nihon culture because a lot of people did not know the Hebrew culture. We didn't know ourselves. So because we didn't know our Hebrew side, we just cleaved into the Nihon side. But I went to venture out to find my Hebrew side, and that's the culture that I live, because it's the freshwater culture. But Nihon is also a part of me, so I want to learn that as well. And so that's what I'm here to do. And so if I can get accepted, then I'll stay here, because it seems that I have a right to be here. If I'm accepted to be here, I will have a right with the people. And it's not just a random guy that has no blood connection to Nihon here. It's just that I have a blood connection and I'm accepted by the Nihon people to come home. A lot of people are not accepted to come home, even though they are Nihonjin. Sorry. Forgot the walls. Well, then a whole little tight space trying to stretch out. So that was that. So I just came because I was accepted for losing almost my life for standing up for Nihon. And like I said, I don't have my driver's license. I don't have my stuff. So if I was trying to get a job, I need my driver's license. So instead of my driver's license, I just use my passport. And I have a photo of my driver's license, and they were able to validate my driver's license is still valid. That's how I was able to get the job I got now. In the process of trying to wait for a new driver's license to come, I couldn't because I'm a traveling technician. I was all over the East Coast. I was in Pennsylvania, Virginia, Nashville, Tennessee. I've been all over. And so I just needed a break, and they were just like, yeah, just take a break, go somewhere. It's like I'm breaking down, I'm falling apart. I need to be on disability, but I'm still grinding myself to the point, and then I can't, and I don't have a wife anymore. It's like I'm working too hard for nothing. And recently someone died at my job, at my company, for being overworked. They got overworked and they died in their sleep. So it's like that, it's like that. country. You get overworked. But yeah, so it was a decision because of what had happened with the Senor Sushi and me speaking out about it and attacking the Mexicans. It's still what I'm doing. I'm attacking the Mexicans for what they are not taking down. Even though I said something, they still are not trying to take down the Senor Sushi. They leaving it up there. I said, so you still gonna leave it there? Like, what are you trying to do? And so now I know it's war. You're trying to erase the Japanese people, the Nihonjin people. You want to erase them. That's what war is, erasing someone. And I guess they're gonna come for anime and PlayStation next. Next thing you know, you're gonna be saying Mexican samurais, Mexican ninjas. Like, it's gonna be all that. And then next thing you know, they're gonna be trying to come for the actual landmass. They're gonna try to come in Tokyo and take Tokyo. You're gonna start seeing Mexicans popping up in Tokyo, speaking Spanish everywhere. If you keep letting it slide, that's what's gonna happen. They're gonna come right in here, start speaking Spanish everywhere. Da 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 da. Muchas gracias. Da 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 da. Like hardcore, understandable. You speaking your language, but you're forcing it on the people as if this is Mexico or something. They're forcing it. That's what they're gonna do. That's what they do. They force their language on people as if people are living in Mexico. Like, yo, we not in Mexico though. Don't force me. You know, you're in a area where there are different languages, multi-languages here in America, whatever the case. So people are speaking many different languages. They force Spanish like that's the only language in the planet. And that's how they act. That's what I mean. So if they came to Tokyo, they would be doing the same thing. Da 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 da. Muchas gracias. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. 20 pesos. 20 pesos. And then try to, you know, and then the Filipinos helping them, trying to take stuff or whatever. It's crazy, yo. So you have two enemies. Philippines, who teamed up with they teamed up with the United States to attack China and Europe. And then you have the Mexicans, who is also on a team with the Filipinos and Americans to come at Nihonjin. And the only team that is against that is Nihonjin, Chugoku-jin, and Europe. And yeah, Europe. And I don't know about the UK, Ikirisu. I don't know about them, but it's just yeah. So US, Philippines, and Mexico versus Chugoku-jin, China, Europe, and Nihon. So that's the war right now. That's the main event right now. There are other events happening in the world, like Palestine and et cetera, et cetera. But the main event right now is what's happening with America. So I'm here. And that's how the prime minister was shot and murdered, because nobody knew about that, Senor Sushi, and nobody said anything that they were stealing our culture and identity, Mexicans. And now the new prime minister almost got hit. He almost got hit. So that was when they made the decision that I'm directly connected with the safety of Nihon and America, which also ties to here now. You know, I'm identifying things and putting it on the table and exposing a lot of different things, even about the Jewish people or whatever the case, which that word don't exist. The proper term would be Yahuda or Yahudi, which are the fourth son of Leah and Rachel, if y'all know the Bible or the Torah. And those are the people who the kingship come out of the nation of Israel. And that is like Melech Dawad and stuff like that, King David and them, as you call them. And we are descended from them. And they are brown people. And so when you change that and twist that up, we are the first people that got fully taken over as far as identity. So we know what that feels like, to have your identity stripped from you, and then you given a whole new identity that's something fake, and then you get enslaved by it. And then when years and years pass, the generations to come don't know who they are anymore, and can't trace back their roots. But the people that are pretending to be them still know, and they do everything in their power to keep them from realizing who they are, because they don't want to leave the place that they were born in either. Even though they're not the bloodline people, they don't want the bloodline people back for some strange reason. But nothing is going to be properly done unless a king rises back up in our nation. Yashra'al is, as they say, as we say Yashra'al, but they say Yisra'el. But if a king doesn't rise up, we're going to have a problem. It's not just a religious belief. There's an actual culture and kingship and a government that come with the culture that connects to the Creator. And the reason why people get that confused is because our culture is given to us by the Creator. It's not given to us by a man. Like a bunch of men came together and made up a bunch of rules about a system that we're going to have and a nation that we're going to have and a culture. Men didn't do that. The Creator did that for us. That's why you can't separate the people from the Creator as far as the Torah goes. The Creator comes with the people, and you must follow the people wherever you find the good ones. So yeah, so all of that stuff. So it went from that to Jewish, or Jew. It's a false thing. It's not real. We don't even have J's in the Hebrew language or the Abadi language. There are no J's. So it's just a way to identify who knows what, who's educated, who's not. So yeah, we know firsthand what it feels like to have your identity stripped from you. And when you know, what can you do about it? But because y'all still have a nation, you can fight. You have soldiers, you have warriors, you have something to fight for still. Hebrews in America have nothing left to fight for. We have no land of our own. We have no nation to go to. We have no government, no country, no soldiers, no warriors, no weapons, no nothing. We have nothing of our own that we can huddle up and fight back with. So you don't want to be like us. When you look at us, don't become us by just observing us like, I don't want to be like them. But that's what's happening. So that's how all of this stuff got started. Rabim are the highest moral authority in the planet. Nobody from any nation is a higher moral authority than a rabbi. Okay? Especially a bloodline rabbi like myself. I'm a bloodline rab, but you want to say rabbi if I'm your rab, you would say rabbi or rabbi. Anyway, we are the highest moral authority. And America knows the power that can destroy them. And because they know the ultimate power that can destroy them, they don't play with them. And you want to observe who the Americans are afraid of when it comes to the metaphysical, the moral part of the everything, what moves the body, the morality. So you don't do anything if you don't feel moved to do it. So that moral part is the main thing. And they know that Rabim are the only people they cannot beat. Satan can't destroy them. He can only use them if they want to be evil. But if you have some that are good, Rabim, he can't use them. The Creator uses them. The true Creator uses them to fight against Satan. So that's the highest war. And if you don't know that, you want to educate yourself on how that's possible. Educate yourself. So that's why I ended up coming up to fight against all of the evil Rabim, Jewish or not. Like I said, Roberto Fortu is Filipino. He's not Jewish or Jew. He's just Arab. He went to school, graduated, became Arab, and he's an elder. But him being wicked, saying something evil out his mouth, ended up causing Chinese people to get shot and killed. He understood. He's a short guy, but he understood knowledge and wisdom. He understood what power, what moral source could give him enough power to fight back against China. Them being a small group of people in the Philippines, not having a big manpower. He understood that. He wasn't stupid. Don't belittle people, man. So I'm the only one that can stop him, and I'm the only one that did stop him by saying what I said. And it's crazy, man. It's crazy. But yeah, you wouldn't expect that to give you that. The reason why you wouldn't expect somebody like me, a brown guy, to be Arab is because a lot of history didn't pass, and you haven't seen the original people be themselves anymore in a long time. 2,000 years passed, since the original people been in the land, being who they actually are, Rabim and stuff. They were brown people, so it's not a strange thing to see a brown man that's a Hebrew man in America, born slave, become a rabbi. Coming out of a lot of mess. That's not strange. That's actually normal. To see somebody that is of Caucasian or European Ashkenazi descent become a rabbi or something, that's strange. Okay? That's actually strange. Because Hebrew people, we don't have Caucasian people in our nation. We have albino or albinoid people in our nation. Meaning you have brown features or features of a Hebrew person, curly hair, but you're an albino. We never had anything else than leprous people. That was rare to see. But everything else was brown, like Africans, Hamites, brown people. So Hebrews are never gonna be Caucasian, but we have been mixed blooded. So you'll see some mixed blooded Hebrew people because of slavery and the breeding against our will and them taking our women and stuff like that. So you see a lot of mixed babies. I'm Japanese. I'm Nihonjin because of the team. We had to team up in America to fight back. So that Native Indians, the Hebrews, and the Asians that's from Vietnam and Nihon, Japan, had to team up together to stay alive. And so we left the South and went north. And by going north, we ended up on the East Coast, Northeast Coast America, of New York, Philly, Baltimore, Virginia, Delaware, in that area, running from persecution and slavery in the South of America, like Atlanta, Georgia, where the Chinese women got shot. That's called the South, the Big South. And that's where slavery is really heavy at. And racism is really heavy there. But we ran north, where we have to fight for our life type of stuff. But at least we get more freedoms or whatever, or more rights, if you want to call it that. Anyway, but you need to know this. America's looking for new oil. And the new oil they're looking for is the nations around them. Nihon is one. Chugoku is one. So they're looking for any nation that's in America that they can take over and become the new oil. Because the Hebrew people, us, we've been slaving for 500 plus years with burnt out oil, and we grind it so hard that the brakes don't work anymore. They're just going to get into an accident trying to let that thing coast. We can't be grinded any further. Supernatural things are happening like the pandemic and things like that because we're being overgrinded. The heaven said the time clock is up. You can't use these people anymore. So now America want to use y'all. You want to fight back. Sitting back too hard, social media too much can make you very lax, laid back on the world being dangerous. You're not. You're so busy in the social media or not focused on what's going on in the world. You don't want to be cut offish to the world. So I want to cut myself off. This has been a whole 60 minutes, whole hour. That's the recap. And that's why I'm here. Hopefully y'all can accept me, Nihon, even though I am Nihon in my blood. Hopefully I can be accepted by y'all and I can have a new home. This is something that my people in Baltimore would love for me to be here. A lot of other reasons as far as metaphysical reasons, superhero power, that side of the world. I'm not talking about that in this video, but that's a reason also why they want me here. But leaving it simple and physical, hopefully. If not, I'll just make a way or find a way, whatever it be. So with that said, I want to say sayonara because I want to say that. What's the other one? I forget. I'll just say konnichiwa again, and shalom shalom.